lose to the Broncos. What type of Raider fan would want to lose to the Broncos? That might be the topic of the mini monologue. And yeah, woo! Life is good, man. Bring your negativity somewhere else. Let's go. I've had a great morning, very productive. My second big cup of coffee. Clay, for a New Year's resolution, I might be giving up, a cup of coffee, black coffee with one cream costs $4.30. I almost wanted to say, why the 30 cents, Clay? Wasn't the $4 enough for a cup of brown water that costs maybe 6 cents to make? It's $4. Do they have to throw $4.30 on there? It's like, what's the 30 cents for? Can't we just round it up to $4?
Minimum wage.
Yeah, maybe to make up the minimum wage.
Here we go.
Great show. La Special is a rich, full-flavored Pilsner-style lager, delivering a crisp, refreshing taste, brewed with fighting spirit since 1925. NCAA football has a home on Raider Nation Radio. Listen to a featured game every
Saturday. Yeah, who wants to beat the Broncos?
Radio 920 AM, KRLV, Las Vegas. It's the JT the Brick Show.
We're going to have a lot of positive energy. The guys that love to compete and play with passion are going to have a chance at the place.
Your Silver and Black home to sound off for over 25 years.
Man, I'm loving it, man. They're making my job tremendously easy to be out here with these young, talented players, man. I think we have a really good team. I'm super excited. I'm already love this fan base.
Here's JT the Red.
Out of the gate, JT with Clay Baker as we get rolling today on a gorgeous day. Man, it is sunny. It is cold. It is brisk. It is football weather. And where are you, man? I'm starting now. The show starts on time. It's kind of like a Broadway show. They dim the lights about 5 minutes before, then get your ass in the seat, and then the show starts. And we open up with our best song. You ever see a rock band? They open up with their best song, and then they give you an encore. We come out strong. You should be here live on YouTube watching me. I think if you watch me, you catch some clues on how I'm feeling, Raider Nation. If you're listening, thank you on the Raiders mobile app. We got a busy couple of days coming up here, really busy few days coming up, and a lot of programming and a lot of Denver Bronco talk. Oh, man, can we try to get Steph McKenzie for a second, Clay? If you can pop up. I'm serious. After you get me up and the music goes down, I would like to get her up here for a second because she hates the Broncos. Oh, my God, she hates the Broncos, and I just saw her in the building. So this is big. If I can get Steph to roll in here for the monologue, this would be really, really cool if I can get the great Steph McKenzie to come in. So hold on. Let's get you on that mic, but say hello here. There she is. No one needs to see me. We can get you going here. So let's get you going. Good. All right. Let's get
fix my hair.
Yeah, your hair looks great. All right. So this is about you.
Hi, Raider Nation.
Yes, thank you very much. The great Steph McKenzie, one of the most influential jocks in all of radio. Now,
you guys.
Now, here's what we're doing today. I've been at war. I've been at war with the trolls and the non-believers. I just came up with that. We have some non-believers. You know when you go to church and someone's a non-believer,
yes.
You try to bring them in? You are the biggest believer I know of beating the donkeys, right? You're the believer I know of beating. You are the biggest. This is your game. So we don't want to deal with people who claim to be Raider fans, have Raider tattoos, and go, I don't know, man. Tell us why we have to beat the Broncos on Sunday.
Because we need bragging rights, because it's a tradition, because it's been going on and on and on forever. And the donkeys need to go downtown. I don't care what their record is. I don't care about this Knicks kid.
Tell everybody how mean the Bronco fans treated you on your legendary road trip to Denver. How mean they were to this young, beautiful woman went into their stadium, and tell them what they did to you.
Oh, my gosh. I'm going to pick one of my most favorites. We were lower bowl, about 8 rows up. So exciting, right? And we're having a good time. We're loud. I'm a loudmouth. And the lady in a fur jacket and diamonds and blah, 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 because the Bronco fans are so bougie, turns around. She's in front of us and says, I know who owns those seats. in that voice too, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to smush her face, but I always rise above when we're on road trips because of the, narrative that we're so ghetto or this, that, and the other, which we're not. We're the best nation in the world. And I said, well, you know what, ma'am? Next time you see them, please make sure that we said thank you because these are fabulous seats. But the game is in front of you, so if you'd turn around, you'd probably be able to see more of it.
You were the one. I've only been to Denver in all my career about 2 or 3 times. I don't go to the cities where I don't have fun.
Well,
I don't have fun in Kansas City.
I went to the University of Wyoming, so I was right there.
So you were right there, and I loved the Charger game for 20 years. It was my favorite trip of the year because you got a free trip to San Diego. You get to go to San Diego. But Denver's interesting because the Bronco fans have been dormant. And what I wanted to say here in the opening monologue, brought to you by PTs, they fuel the monologue, 5 to 7, midnight to 2. We love PTs, is that Denver hates us so badly.
So bad.
They are all infatuated in Colorado. They hate the Raiders. So we can't have Raider fans leave the reservation, leave our fort, and go out there and go, I kind of want to lose because I want a draft pick, and I'm upset with the coach, and he's old. No, we need to win this game.
And by the way, I was in radio in Denver, and I wasn't allowed to talk about the Raiders. That's how big time they take it. Like, even us talking about this, they probably would have marched in and drug me out of the studio. And it's so bad when you go there. The other fun game, can I tell you, JT, real quick? I was at the Lincoln Kennedy.
You were at the Lincoln Kennedy snowball game?
Like literally 2 arm lengths away when he did that. And it was awesome. And it wasn't just the snowball game. Mm-hmm. The Bronco fans, and this is I've never seen anything this atrocious from a visiting state, even in Oakland, in the many thousands of games I've been to. They were putting batteries in those snowballs. So you know what, Lincoln Kennedy? Beat their ass.
You were there when Lincoln Kennedy went into the crowd.
Yes,
snowball
right
game.
Next to it.
So Lincoln despises the Broncos too, but I just wanted to say this because you're such a dear friend. We go back a long way. This has been one of our most difficult seasons ever.
Ever.
LA, Oakland, this is it.
Ever.
It didn't work out as expected. The team and their fans are very loyal traditionally. It sucks.
It does.
We want to win every game.
Right.
But it doesn't matter what game it is. When you get to the next game, the players in the building want to win.
About the game.
The coaches want to win. Pete does a wonderful job selling to the players and, hey, we're going to practice this week hard, competition. And then they're losing every game, and people are like, well, wait a second. Well, no, they are practicing hard. They're committed, but that's kind of going over Raider Nation's head now. They just want results. So how about a result of beating Denver? That would be a nice result.
Oh, my gosh. How awesome would that be? And, the newscasters last week when we were in San Diego, they were like, let's be honest, we're playing for bragging rights,
You said
right?
San Diego. It was L.A.
I mean, well,
it was Inglewood. It was
San Diego.
It was actually Inglewood in the hood.
In the hood.
Up to no good. It was in Inglewood.
Wow.
So.
We should never start a rap career ever.
No, it would not work out well.
But anyways, I think that's true, but I go game by game, right? So now we know where we are. We know where you stand.
We're not making the playoffs. We're eliminated from the playoffs.
So you're either a fan or you're not a fan. So if you're already going in, this, that, and the other, then what kind of fan are you?
Did you just say you're either a fan or not a fan?
Right.
I've been waiting to say that for a long time. You're either a fan or you're not a fan.
I love the Raiders through and through. Is it difficult this season? Absolutely. Does it suck when you go to places and people talk crap? Absolutely. But you know what I say? Raider Nation for life, baby. Win, lose, or die. Tie, I'm going to die a Raider fan.
Thank you for doing this because I haven't had a good week with the nation. I mean, they are DMing me. They're coming over the top. Some of my brothers in arms with the Raider Nation. We have not been on the same page, and it's the holiday season. You know, nice JT and mean JT. I'm trying to be nice, and I'm trying to get us to win a game.
Well, and guess what? You've got to be a fan. We understand. Hello, if you're a fan, even if you're a mild fan, even if you just started liking them. Yes, the season hasn't been great. It hasn't.
It hasn't.
It hasn't. But we're in it together. We're in this together. And this game, oh my God, please let's beat the Broncos.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're the best. Now,
You're the best.
Look at that. Look at that. Steph McKenzie, everybody. Yeah, and she's a diehard fan, and she despises the Broncos. That's why I'm happy I was able to see you through the glass window here to help me with the monologue today. That was really cool. So Steph started us off, and kind of that's the tone of the show here. I'm not going to battle with you today. I'm not going to argue about your mythical draft pick or how hurt you are. I just had a girl come in here and say, get over it, guys, and grow the hell up and beat the Broncos. Okay, so if you want to take it out on me, this isn't Gino playing me. If you want to take it out on me that you haven't won every game this year and you're upset with the coach and everybody else, do what you do. But that was a young lady who just came in and said, guys, kind of wake up and let's kind of focus this thing and be loyal and get behind the team. You could be as pissed off as anyone you know on God's green earth with this Raider season, but still be loyal as hell. And again, I don't think you're very loyal if you trash the team publicly all the time. Let me put that on record. You are not a loyal Raider fan if you trash the brand and make a living off of it or talk crap about your team and then want to have the benefits of going to events and say, hey, I'm Raider Ricky and I'm a great Raider fan. No, you're not. If you're trashing your own team and kicking them when they're down and kicking them in front of Broncos, Chiefs, and Chargers, you're not a great fan. Okay, and I'm not punishing you. Who cares what I think? She just told you, be loyal. Let's beat the Broncos. And if they don't beat the Broncos, what are we going to do, Clay? We're going to rinse and repeat, right? We're going to talk about why we didn't beat the Broncos, what happened, did we run the ball into the pile, how many targets did Brock get? Clay, we've done that all stinking year. I'd like to come in here on a Victory Monday and have a really cool time and a celebration and have people celebrate a win.
Yeah, bring back the rivalry that we used to be. We remember that one moment in time when you were able to say, all right, sweep the Broncos again this year, sweep them the year before and the year before that. And you have this kind of dominance in the series of your most hated rival. And at the same time, you wonder how quickly they bridged the gap to become where they are right now. And you just know one game, all it takes is one game to snap that rivalry right back to where it needs to be.
Well, what I've been trying to preach for years, and it's not going well, is that we get into this tanking conversation that I don't participate in ever. And if I don't participate in it, to even engage me on that is really disrespectful. But some people are new and maybe they don't know. But when it comes to, the tanking and not winning games, I just have the ultimate slam dunk on all these trolls. I say it to Max. Just walk up to Max and say, Max, lose the game on purpose because I want a draft pick. Tell me how that goes. And no one ever has done that, and no one would ever do that. You want to win the games in your rivalry. You want to do it. We're going to get a high draft pick. Clay, can we get that topic out of the way too? Because I don't do draft talk in December and January. No. We're going to get a really good draft pick, right? Really good. So the only thing that would suck is if we got a really good draft pick and he sucked. That's what's been not happening exactly. But we can't have another Tyree Wilson at 7, Jamarcus Russell at 1, Alex Leatherwood at 17. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where our pick is. The first pick you think is the best pick. You might be right if Joe Burrow's coming out or Jaden Daniels coming out. They're not coming out. Mendoza, some of the others who are coming out, they're pretty good. We're all going to get a great pick. The pick's going to be fine. The point is, are they going to miss on the pick or are they going to nail the pick? That's all that matters. So whoever the guy is they pick and they fly him in on the private jet and we introduce him day one and he's taking all the photos with Marcus Allen and Plunkett, like Ashton Genty, who's a really good player. When that happens in April, oh my God, April. Did I just say April? Oh, how far away is April from December?
We got miles to go before then.
Man, when they introduce that young man who's going to be our first pick, is it really going to matter if he was taken 2nd, 4th, 5th? He's going to be a really good player. And we got to hope that he's not a bust. And we got to hope that he's great. That's all it is. So I hope that helps everybody coming into the Bronco game. We'll see what happens. I've been really hard on the Broncos all year because I don't think the Broncos are a great team. But they're embarrassing me because how many more times? I got Brandon Cristal coming up later in the week. I think we have him Friday. And I'm going on Denver radio tomorrow. And when I go on Denver radio, sometimes they're knuckleheads, other times they're not. I'll go on, they'll introduce me, JT, been with the Raiders 4 decades, man. We love JT. We've been listening to him for 30 years. And then they just start ripping the Raiders. and then I hit the cord. I just hit the cord and I go right at them like Game of Thrones, and I go back at them. And they're probably waiting for me right now, gearing up their shows tomorrow to say, here he comes again. Well, we recently beat the Broncos 8 in a row. 8 in a row. That's a lot. That is a lot of that's a lot of wins that we've had. That is a lot of wins that we've had in the last couple of years since we opened up Allegiant Stadium. I mean, that's a lot of wins. And now all of a sudden it's going backwards. They're all of a sudden getting the wins now, and we're sitting here saying, oh, man, what just happened? What just happened? Now we're giving back all those 8 wins in a row. And when are we going to give them back? 6, 7, 8 in a row before we start having a competition again? It's really important the Raiders win this game because the last game they should have won. They were better. I think you all know that. They were better. And they lost 10-7. There was a big penalty on a touchdown that was called back. I look at it this way. If the Raiders would have won that game and this game and swept the Broncos and the Broncos still went to the playoffs, that would have been pretty cool. Not the Raiders record. I hate the Raiders record. I hate it more than anything on the planet. I hate this record. There's nothing good about it, but there is something important about beating a division rival. So that's the topic today if you want to call in. I got Vinny Bonsignore at 1 o'clock. I got the man who speaks the truth more than anyone. We all do. Bill Williamson at 12:45. I'm trying to get Johnny Katz in here a little bit later on our entertainment hit. So we'll see what happens. So, everything that's happening here today to me is about Denver and how to beat Denver. We got to kind of get back to the formula that has made this show successful with our partners and advertisers. Monday, we recap. Tuesday, we recap if it was really bad. And then Wednesday, we're right into the next game until the season ends. So let's get into how to beat the Broncos or why the Bronco win would be important to you. Why the Bronco game would be important to you. I'll go first. We got to stop their streak against us. It's a mini streak. We got to stop it. We can't let Bo Nix get off to a great start in Las Vegas. We can't let Bo Nix win his first 6 or 7 games in the history of the rivalry. Can't let that happen. So let's go out and do it for that reason. Number 2, hey, raise your hand and beep your horn, everybody, if you love Brock Bowers. Raise your hand. Do you love Brock Bowers? Well, don't you want Brock Bowers to have 10 receptions and 2 touchdowns? If we do that, we win the game all day. 10 receptions, 2 touchdowns, I think we win. So when it comes down to all this, there's a lot of good things. Max is watching Myles Garrett break the sack record all time. It's a done deal. He's going to break it. Well, Max doesn't want Myles Garrett to break it. I mean, I'm sure they're friends. Max wants to break that some point down the road. So let's get Max a couple other sacks and tackles for losses. And then it comes down to Gino again, who I told you I saw Gino in the building yesterday and had a few words. Gino and I had a quick hello and a couple of quick words there. Gino on the 2 drives, the 2 touchdown drives that were long drives and he played well, gave us the Gino we've been waiting for. Now, he didn't give it to us after that. He didn't do it in the 4th quarter when we needed it. But overall, Gino showed us why he was brought in by John Spytek, assuming Tom Brady and Pete Carroll. Watch those 2 touchdown drives. That's why we got him. Gardner Minshew had touchdown drives like that in Indianapolis. Aiden O'Connell's had touchdown drives like that. There's been a few guys to do it, but we needed to see, or at least I needed to see, what Gino does well. And what Gino did well, he gave us a glimpse. And that's kind of, Clay, the word of the day. Unfortunately, Gino has given us a slight glimpse of the best of his football, which is really unfortunate because he was brought in to be an elite quarterback, which he wasn't going to get to, but at least above average and very good, and we haven't seen it.
Yeah, the floor fell out from underneath him because the offensive line wasn't able to do things that needed stability, that needed Gino to go and at least have some sort of safe place where he could go and do his own game. And at the same time, maybe finding a different kind of play design that also fit Gino's skills. So he's now trying to adapt to the situation, and that's not easy. I don't know if any quarterback you brought in could have handled any sort of success with the offensive line he was given.
Yeah, and the other big thing comes to if the Raiders end up losing the game and they keep the high draft pick and they played the young players and they competed really hard, okay, I'm going to be upset that they lost as a season ticket holder in the building, but okay, if they lose another game, and they're going to lose more games, we all know they're going to lose more games, but how are they going to play? Are they going to show some improvement so Pete Carroll and John Spytek can go to Mark Davis at the end of the year and say, hey, this was a terrible season on all accounts, but we did this and we did that at the end of the year. I think that's important for anybody in life. We get to the month of December, you might have spiritual goals, physical goals, wellness goals. You might have had a bad year. You might have overate. You might have overdrank. You might have had a bad year financially. Well, you can change it all in December. You can kind of turn it around so you start 2026 on a roll, right? You're not going to throw away the end of the year and say, oh, my God, my year sucked. I lost my job. I didn't do well. I had a problem. You don't go into December saying, let's make it worse. You get up out of bed and say, this is going to be the beginning of something new. Well, it's hard to do in football because you have to wait till the draft to do that. You can't do any of that until the draft and free agency. So we know that the Raiders are going to get a bunch of offensive linemen via the draft and free agency. We're guaranteed that. That's a blindfold guarantee that the Raiders will completely reconstruct this offensive line. You would assume with better players, or they wouldn't bring the new players in. So you would think that they're going to reconstruct the offensive line and it'll be pretty good. I hope Trey Tucker stays. He's a good player. Shannon Sharp thinks he's a 3 receivers. Okay, let's say he's a 2 or 3. We're going to get another number 1. We're going to get a number 1 somewhere. And then we got to get cornerbacks. A 4th-round cornerback. I've been there, done that, man. I've done a lot of 4th-round quarterbacks with this team in the last couple of years. 4th and 6th-round quarterbacks don't do much for me. Free agent cornerbacks who have been to a Pro Bowl do something for me, but then why would they be a free agent? Why is their team letting them go if they're so good? And that's a problem when you want to build. But this could be, I won't use the term perfect storm because nothing's perfect around here. But this could be a positive storm because John Spytek's got a lot of money. I think he's going to clear the deck chairs of a bunch of players who aren't going to be back. We wish them well. Once a Raider, always a Raider. They got a lot of draft picks. As of now, 10. It could be more because they could be in the hunt to trade down to get multiple offensive linemen and do that. I don't know what they're going to do. But that's what's going to happen. And Max is signed. Bowers is signed. Genty is signed. Yeah, Geno signed. Geno's making a lot of money. But there's ways to figure that out and what they're going to do with the quarterback. And I'm pretty confident that they're going to draft the quarterback really high, because we need a franchise quarterback here at some point who's young on a rookie contract. And it hasn't been easy to get that player the last couple of years. And you could say, well, if we lost more games, we would have got a better pick. But as we talked about, they don't go into games to lose. So we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. But I'm more focused on Denver. So for today, if you want to call in 702-365-9200, you can jump in here and let us know what you think about the Bronco game. 702-365-9200 is the number. You can call anywhere within the Raider Nation. We are not an exclusive Raider show, even though I have the banners behind me. We talk about all NFL. UNLV is going to play Boise State. Oh, my God. We got to get that shootout game-winning goal. Clay, I was on the air last night when that happened.
Yes.
That was something. Golden Knights needed a win. Not only did they get it, they got it in dramatic fashion.
They did, and they got it, and it was one of those things where it's like, you had this long 5-game road trip against the beasts of the East, and already when you're in a division that you thought you could handle pretty strongly in the Pacific, it's not like that anymore. So it's almost like every win has a certain amount of significance, even in December. But the Golden Knights have found their stride, and yesterday that was a late game as a national TV game, and they still found a way to pull that out.
Yeah. Look, this hockey team's incredible, man. Hey, this college football team's pretty incredible, defining where they are. I've had a chance to spend some time with Dan Mullen socially over the last couple of weeks, and Paul Gunther, who used to be the defensive coordinator of the Raiders. I was with Paul Gunther on his birthday. His actual birthday is a few hours before mine. It's the same day. Paul Gunther's birthday is the same day as mine. Same day as mine, and we were hanging out at a party, and I talked to Dan Mullen about the team and what's happening here. I'm not a big UNLV honk. I'm not like a guy running around with UNLV gear, but I want the program to do well all the time. A lot of my friends, Jersey Joe Haro, the great running back for them, a lot of great players who played there, fantastic people, and want to see them do well. Steve Stallworth and his crew who invite me to their tailgates, the Raiders, the UNLV Foundation. Casey Flair and those guys, great guys. So we want the UNLV Rebels to win at Boise State because I was there last year, and it was the second coldest football game I ever went to. I went to a 4-degree Green Bay Packer game, which was 4 degrees. And then I went to the Boise State game where I think with wind chill, it was 6 degrees. And it was a fun way to get up there and down there in the private jet. But out there, we didn't have a private box. And that's the coldest I've ever been in Boise. So no thanks. I'll watch this one, but the weather's supposed to be really good. All right, that's the monologue. We want to thank our friends at Tomorrow Aesthetics for Men. I've been telling you about this men's spa where you can get the hydrofacial if you guys need it, if you want Botox, hair restoration. There's a couple of ways where you can regrow your hair, guys. Nothing to be ashamed of. If you need hair growth because of your age or hereditary in your family, they have the solution for you. Also weight loss. But it's a men's spa. So you go in there and there's men going through the same treatments you are. I think you'll love it. I've been loving going there. They've been a great partner of ours, Tomorrow Aesthetics for Men. Go find it. Go find it here. We're running the spots. I'm talking about them all the time. I'm going tomorrow. I can't wait to go. Tomorrow Aesthetics for Men, proud partner of our show. So we got Bill Williamson in 15 minutes. Vinny Bonsignore at the top of the hour. We're going to try to get Johnny Katz on at the end of the show. And let's line up some phone calls on how to beat Denver. And more importantly, what does the Denver rivalry mean to you? How important was this game in the past? And hopefully important to you in the future. Chris Paul will no longer be with the team. And they did him dirty in the middle of the night. Ooh, they did him in the middle of the night on the road.
Sounds like ultimatums are being had.
With ball Saturday.
Hey, McGrady, stay right there. You're coming up next, okay?
But Marshall and Stone.
Thank you.
Every Friday, Clyde on the What Gaming is the official and exclusive local casino.
Got my Coaches vs. Cancer hat on for those who believe.
The Valley. Don't let the game get out of hand. Please bet responsibly.
All right.
Down my favorite pizza in Vegas. Grimaldi's can get the famous New York style cold fire cooked on the pizza. Grimaldi's has 4 locations in the Vegas Valley, or check them out online at Grimaldi'sPizzeria.com.
The Vegas Golden Knights are rolling through another epic season. There's nothing more refreshing than an ice cream.
Don Van Adder just tweeted. You see that?
Great.
Let me tell you what it says. 2011 Raiders worth $770 million. 2025 Raiders, $7.7 billion. No one to blame for that. You don't have to blame anyone for making money. Now let's win some games with that money.
It's the injury. It's about the recovery. Hi, this is Paul Pata from Paul Pata Law. You know, motorcycle accidents can be complex, and that's when you need an attorney that understands the unique challenges of a motorcycle accident case. At Paul Pata Law, we'll guide you through the journey of recovering physically, emotionally, and financially. Check us out at paulpatalaw.com or call us at 702-707-3000.
Guys, you ready to look your best and feel your best? This is JT the Brick from Raider Nation Radio, and I'm a client for Tomorrow Aesthetics for Men. Their certified team delivers a true premium med spa experience just for men. From weight loss to hair restorations to neurotoxin and advanced skincare, they'll help you look sharper and feel more confident. Find them at Sahara and Fort Apache. Book your appointment now at tmrwformen.com. That's TMRWFO.
We got this fake Raider fan just win someday. Some troll who's just trolling everything. Another Raider fan who has a picture of himself in front of the torch, claims to be a Raider fan and spitting all over his team. Love to meet this guy. Love to meet this guy with the Raider hat telling you how much he loves the Raiders. Loves the Raiders, but blanks on his team all the time. Real tough guy. Another anonymous tough guy.
Sponsored by Pfizer.
All right. I said I wouldn't do that today to my sons. I told them I wouldn't. I wouldn't be worked up today, Clay. I got a big weekend coming up.
Pace yourself.
Imagine being a million miles away Chimpai, Self-Pad, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe psoriasis who may benefit from treatment.
You don't care, Raider fans, since 82, that the Raiders are worth $1. We don't care what you think anyway, too. So if you don't care that the Raiders are worth $7 billion, we don't care what you think. We actually don't care. So press lightly. We don't care. I read something positive about the net worth of the franchise that is here in Vegas. If you can't handle that without getting triggered, go get a Coke and go have a nice day. Go get a workout in. Go do something.
Fire.com. Football is here.
No, I don't want to get him today, Anthony. I'm trying to be chill JT today, man.
Just your phone with the notification for silence. Are you still able to get my text?
I don't know why I would say the silence. I'm getting your text.
Okay.
Epic Raider. We only have one caller on hold, huh? What a bunch of front-running frauds. One caller on hold on Broncos week. But everybody's a tough guy on Twitter, man. Everybody. No one wants to talk about the Raiders when I'm on the radio. Maybe call the shows before me and after me because they got really good shows. And just sit back and listen. We got some great numbers coming in on the show. Thank you for watching live. Thank you for watching live.
Could help decide who's a bye in the college football playoffs. Listen in starting Saturday at 1 on Raider Nation Radio 920.
I do remember the Ronald Curry snow catch.
Brought to you by the DeCasta Verde Law Group. If you get injured in an accident, call 702-222-9999.
They motion everyone to the left, one-on-one for Bowers. Here comes the blitz. Gino sees it, lobs towards the end zone. Bowers shoved to the ground. Still got it. Oh, my God. Bowers beat the ground on his backside. One of the toughest catches you'll ever see. Brock Bowers on the turf caught it with his one hand, and he smothered it into his chest. Wow! That is Brockton Pine, and that is a Raiders touchdown.
Brock Bowers, one of the toughest catches I've ever seen. JT, back with you. Want to thank our friends at the M Resort as they're opening up their new tower today. How about that? Congratulations to M Resort, our proud partner. M Resort Spa and Casino, Clay, opening up their new tower. We've been together to the Raiders Tavern and Grill. I have dinner with the Bolitnikovs at Anthony's. The lobby is gorgeous with race cars and big Christmas trees. The pool in the summer, the concerts, everything they did. What a great partner we have with the M Resort. If you're looking for a room, if you're coming into town, if you're just looking for a great dinner, entertainment, all the concerts that we cross-promote here, congratulations to the M Resort Spa and Casino, proud partner of my show, a really, really important partner. Everyone's important, but the M was right there to welcome the Raiders to Southern Nevada, and we really appreciate that. So here's an interesting topic that's going to get a couple of people triggered. Don Van Natter, who's been a guest on this show, just reported that the Raiders went from $770 million in 2011 in Oakland to $7.7 billion in Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, that is good news. I mean, we never wanted to leave Oakland. You're aware of that, right? Mark never wanted to leave Oakland, never did. He's on the record of saying that. You know that's true. Mark got kicked out of Carson, California. They voted the Raiders out of Carson, California. And look at it. Look at them now. Now they're worth I think they're worth about $9 billion. I've heard people say that. A lot of it has to do, too, with new ownership and some of the money infused and, the growth of the city and all of that. But that's a big deal. Why is that a big topic? Because it's everywhere. It's everywhere right out there. Now, I guess some valuations came out today. And it came out today, and, that's the way the franchises work now. Al Davis, Al Davis was a businessman. He didn't have a lot of money to work with from the league. He sued the league and won. There wasn't a lot of money there. Al Davis was trying to, increased the valuation of the team. He wanted luxury boxes in Oakland. Mount Davis was built, went back and forth to L.A. Al did a lot of business. Mr. Davis did a lot of business. And, we're sitting here now looking at this team and saying, wow, this team is now worth a lot of money because of the move to Vegas. And that has a lot to do with it because Vegas is thriving now. Tourism's down a little bit this year, just like the stock market's down from time to time and then goes back up again. But what's happening now is that Southern Nevada and the growth of sports and the sports and entertainment capital of the world with the Sphere and Circa downtown and the Strip Corridor and the Golden Knights and the Aces, which Mark owns, and all of that, it's a perfect storm out here, but you got to win games. You got to win games, and the Raiders have got to catch up with their valuation by winning more games. And that's where we're going. That's where we're going tonight. If you want to get through, the Broncos are coming to town. How important is the Bronco game? Here's Epic Raider, who got me one of my favorite gifts this year, a nice button-down Raider Nation shirt. How are you, buddy?
Hey, doing good, JT. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. You?
Oh, man, I'm just hanging in there. Let me tell you something. Me and my man, D-Raider, we've been holding it down, trying to weather the storm, not going anywhere. Raider fans for life. But this game is huge to me because the place I work at has a big Bronco painted on the door right when you pull up. Every day I got to see this stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it's nothing like having a neighbor or someone at work who doesn't root for your team and then they kind of shove it in your face, right? We've all been there.
And on top of that, they planned the Christmas party at Topgolf during the Bronco game. So I'm gonna be making noise, man. You might hear me all the way out there, but I'll be representing in Donkey Central, man. I'm going to ride some donkeys.
So are you going to wear Raider gear to the Christmas party, or are you going to avoid that?
Of course.
All right.
So, hey, we're holding down out here no matter what happens with this squad. I love them, and I love the Black Hole. I love you, my brother.
Appreciate you. Thank you, my friend. That opens up a line. The phones are quiet today. I think people are upset with me. I've been going a little too hard this week, Clay. I've been too aggressive this week. I haven't been doing the baby radio. It's big boy radio. I apologize. Maybe I need the holidays. I've been a little bit aggressive this week. There's a lot of rants my son's cutting up. So maybe I just need to take a deep breath. We got stuff to give away. I'm not a big giveaway show, and you're going to help us with that, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Tell us about the promotion and what's happening.
Well, it's the Ultimate Raiders giveaway, the Ultimate Raiders hookup, and it's a fantastic thing where we go send you to the game against Denver. Two tickets, right? You get 2 tickets. You get 2 field passes. That right there is a bonus beyond bonuses and an autographed Max Crosby jersey.
Oh,
we will do that giveaway where you qualify to win, you get Raiders merchandise, and then your name goes in the grand prize drawing, which we'll do it on Friday morning during the morning tailgate.
Oh, we're going to do it during your show.
Yeah. Get it out of the way. Let everyone know so people start their weekend on a high note. But who could that be? Who could be that lucky listener?
I hope someone wins. I know it's going to be great. This is incredible to see. That's field passes and a Max jersey.
You know how great field passes are? Like it's almost better than the tickets and sitting down in the game.
Field passes are nice.
That's an exclusive experience that very few people get.
Yeah, when you're on there, I don't ask for it much. I don't, and a lot of people who ask for it, I'm like, no, when it comes around, it comes around. But I'm on the field before every game, and you walk by the roped area, and you see everybody with their eyes open. They're on the field. They're watching both teams warm up. It's really cool, and I like what they've done at Allegiant Stadium, where the players now come through the Champions Club, and that's always a pretty good time there too. Now, not every fan has the ability or the resources to be in club seats or be on the field and all that. So it's nice when we have a promotion or two that can help you out along the way. 702-365-9200. It's Bronco week. And if you're a Bronco fan, you're welcome to call in too. I don't keep anybody off the radio, but we're looking for Raider fans who really believe that this could be a game, not to turn around the season. The season's already lost. Teams eliminated from the playoffs. But what could happen with a win here? What could happen with a win here? The other big breaking news today is Chris Paul was cut in the middle of the night. Arguably the greatest Clipper of all time. You want to talk about doing someone dirty? Chris Paul and their coach Ty Lue weren't speaking. The coach and the greatest player in franchise history weren't speaking. They weren't on speaking terms. So they cut Chris Paul in the middle of the night. 12-time All-Star. Been vocal in holding management and coaches and players accountable. The Clippers felt that Paul's style had become disruptive, so they let him go. And they did him so dirty. They did him in the middle of the night on the road. So Lawrence Frank said 2 days ago he set up a meeting with Paul to take place when the team arrived in Atlanta yesterday, one day ahead of the Clippers game against the Hawks. But the Clippers were delayed in Miami for 6 hours. They had mechanical issues with the flight. Frank said he let Paul know of the team's decision during a 3-hour talk, which was highly emotional at times. Paul, considered one of the greatest players in Clippers franchise history, posted on social media at 3 a.m. Eastern that he learned he was being sent home on the road to Los Angeles. Wow. There's a lot more to that story, man. Stevie G in Oakland, the town. Hello, Stevie.
Hey, man. How you doing? Doing?
Great, thanks.
Hey, man. Cool. I'm looking for the Raiders to just I'm looking for Pete Carroll to continue to be Pete Carroll. And I think he's going to have some time, obviously, to work on building this organization into the vision that he has, obviously, along with Spycheck. And that's just the way it's going to have to be. Mm-hmm. And in that space, I think what we saw offensively, I'm just glad that Brock Bowers was getting the end zone touches, not just in the middle of the field, but in the red zone, getting the touches, the opportunities to show that he is our due.
Hey,
and
Stevie,
keep our dues our due.
Yeah. How long have we been talking about throwing the ball in the end zone, not short of the end zone? Get it in the end zone. And finally, the Brock Bowers touchdowns were red zone targets. One was a really brutal catch, tough catch in a good way. The other one, he was wide open. The thing that frustrates me, glass is half empty, is how was he wide open 3 times and scored 2 touchdowns and 4 targets? And he only got 4 targets in a game that was 7-7. If in a game that was 7-7 at the half, if he had 7 targets in the first half and 5 in the second half, I'm not saying the Raiders would have won, but they would have been much closer to winning the ballgame.
I totally agree with you. We're going to have to make sure that they used to say this about Jerry Rice. You get them involved early, or you lose them for the game. If you don't get them involved early, you could lose them for the game. Mm-hmm. And I think all these star people are like that. You got to get them involved, let them know that they're there. They know that they're there, but let everybody else know that they're there and keep it going, keep it being funneled, and then he becomes our focal point, and he should be. He proved it as a rookie. My guys, the records he broke, let's say, hey, we've got somebody. And my last comment will be, as we got him in the 13th pick of the draft, I don't ever want to hear anyone talking about, what is it called that they call you lose to get closer to the first draft? I don't want to hear that. Yeah, whatever that word is, it should never cross our lips. And it should be, let's go for it, let's win, let's produce. And in doing so, let Spycheck do his job along with Pete and the organization, and we'll be fine. Just like we found Brock Bowers, we'll find others that want to play. I mean, didn't we get Crosby in the 4th round?
Yeah, 4th round. Mike Mayock.
We can do it. We can do it.
Hey, now that's a great call, man. Thank you, Stevie. I needed that. I needed to hear from someone in Oakland who wants to win, and really good phone call. Appreciate that about Brock Bowers' targets. That was brought to you by Grimaldi's. I tell everybody, and people stop me who know me at the Torch and say, Grimaldi's. Yeah, it's the best pizza I've ever had. I'm from New York. I've had the best pizza you've ever had, and Grimaldi's is number 1. Proud partner of our show, 4 locations. Boca Park is my go-to. We did a remote on Eastern. If you want to go to the Palazzo, there's great locations here, and you'll love it. The menu's fantastic. They got a nice wine menu. They serve all your adult beverages there. You'll just have a great time. Head on out to Grimaldi's. Tell them JT sent you home with a $50 gift card, and you might want to buy some $50 gift cards when you go to Grimaldi and give them to your friends. We included 4 $50 Grimaldi's gift cards for the 3630 Foundation golf tournament, and the winners in the raffle were really happy. Man, I got a Grimaldi's gift card. The best pizza I've ever had. Thanks to Grimaldi's, and a happy holiday season to them.
Wake up with a
Man, I see my son. Both my sons in there today, or just one of my sons in there today? As Raider D would say, I'm going to hydrate. Hydrate. All right, Bill Williamson.
October 15th. Robert hit 4 lines. Carry his was tossed.
Thanks for being here today. Did everybody subscribe? Did you hit the subscribe button? I think we're right at 8,000 subs. Remember when we started and we had nothing, and we got 8,000, and they're highly engaged. We got good engaged involvement here with this show. So, I want to get this thing to about, I don't need 100,000 YouTube subscribers. I can give a shit. I'd like to get to 20,000 or 30,000. That'll take a while. It's going to take a while, but I'm here. And this is just a show that I'm doing anyway. So we'll start to do more programming and it'll grow it that way. But I want to appreciate it if you're a bricklayer and you're there and you've already subscribed. Thank you. And we're going to do a party someday out here. We're going to do something big for everybody who's here. We're going to get you out to Vegas and I'm going to throw a party for everybody who wants to come. This group. Maybe that's something we can work on in the summer. In the summer. Yeah, here's another wise guy. We got an 85-year-old head coach. Why are you shaming the age of Pete Carroll? N3 WAG, he's done more. He's done more in his life from the age of 35 to 37 than you did in your entire life. So why are you making fun of the coach's age? How despicable is it for you to make fun of the age? My dad's 87. My dad's 87, and you're making fun of Pete Carroll. Don't you understand the people that shame people for their age or their gender? You are so, that this N3W WAG guy is such a gutless coward to make fun of the age of a coach. What pathetic.
Or solution.
And he shifts. He moves his receivers farther out to the left. One on the plate block. Herbert gets the snap. Backpedaling, fired. Near side. And just Kelly. Steps out of bounds. Yeah. Kelly with his third interception of the season. Stepped right in front of the receiver at the goal line. Kept both feet in bounds. And that is a massive takeaway on the 13th play of the drive.
All right, Jason Horowitz on the call, or a weekly or bi-weekly hit. Whenever I call him, he says he comes on. He's one of the most honest guys, best insiders, the longest-standing insider in the Raider Nation. Bill Williamson joins us. And, Bill, it's beyond rough sledding. It's beyond. I mean, this is something I didn't –
whole century been mostly bad, and this is up there for the tough time.
I've said this on the record, and you know this. We can go back a while. This is the worst Raider offense in the history of the franchise. Not. I don't think the worst Raider team, but that could be debated because maybe they end up on the worst Mount Rushmore Raider teams. I don't know. We'll see. Some games left, but no debate in my mind that the offense's inability to run block, forget about pass protection, that's gone. The inability to move the pile and run block puts this as arguably the worst offense they've ever put on the field.
Yeah, I mean, I think we put expectations for the mix as well. Not saying a lot of people thought this was going to be a playoff team, but they thought it was going to be a competitive team, right? I think, 7-8 win people were kind of throwing out there. And to see this on a consistent basis, now, we're basically 3/4 into the season, and it just hasn't gotten better.
So, Bill, when you look back into the offseason when the Raiders were going to go with Caillou and they were going to go with Stokes and they wanted to develop Porter, and then they looked at the offensive line with Kappa and who they had with Dylan Parham, and they were kind of good. All right, they were good. They weren't going, hey, man, we're in the market for another player or a Pro Bowler. Was that the issue, that they just wanted to fix it by developing this group, which is fair? They drafted the players. They had good players in the building, some, and give it a go when they could have spent more money on better players. How do you see it?
Oh, it's probably a combination of both. I think they miscalculated. Yeah, I think Pete Carroll came in here very, very confident and with his system and thinking the guys they can win with. And yeah, kind of all offseason we're kind of waiting for him to shore up at certain places. I think defense back, cornerback in particular was the first place. And then, there were some holes on the offensive line. It just never really happened. I mean, they were very, I guess, just inactive in free agency. And they were inactive under Tom Telesco for the most part. He made the big financial hit with Wilkins, and that ended up not working out. But he didn't add a lot either. And yeah, it's kind of strange that they added a lot of older guys and guys who knew Pete and guys who, maybe had 1 or 2 Pro Bowl seasons, more than that in Adams' case, and Jamal Adams. Mm-hmm. But they were just kind of just filling holes, and stopgap guys. So I didn't really like the depth of this team. I did think Pete Carroll would have a positive influence on the team. But yeah, it just hasn't happened. It just how uncompetitive they are and how disorganized the team really kind of stands out. This is supposed to stop. The dysfunction was supposed to stop and supposed to be a culture change, and it really hasn't. And you can argue that it's gone the other way.
You can argue a lot of things. That's why we have Bill Williamson on, been covering the Raiders for a long time. And Bill, that's what's really bothering me the most is I know that Pete's system, the competition Wednesday, what he does, the formation of his vision of practice and bringing the practice to the game is pretty good and very highly respected around the league. And not just from me, but Hall of Famers, his former players, his former assistants who have gone on. You look at Canales, you look at Quinn, you look at all the other coaches in his tree. They're kind of running programs similar to him. His program system of building works, and it didn't work here this year yet. but I believe in the system. It's kind of like you run a business for 30 years and the business works and it's working good. And then all of a sudden in one of the years, it's a COVID year or it's a stock market crash year or something happens. And you go, wait a second, it's worked. Are we going to stick with it because it's going to work again when the market comes back? Or is this system, I don't think it's outdated, but a lot of people around the league are questioning it if you have this system in place without elite players, mature players who have played in big games.
Yeah, I mean, you can, is it a lack of talent? I don't know. I mean, yeah, his system works. I'm not going to sit here and poke holes at the history of the Super Bowl winning coach. It's done it for more than a decade, averaging, 10 wins or so. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
But it's not working right now. And I just don't know. I wrote last week that, the predicament is it's almost unfathomable to think that they can start over again, another one and done. But it's also unfathomable to think that they can roll this back, so it's really tough. But there's been nothing in this program in this season that say, okay, it's worth doing over again next year. But again, I mean, you don't want to just keep resetting. So it's just in a tough spot. And I think the powers that be are probably sitting around and going, again? Well, I just don't understand why this keeps happening. And it's just incredible.
Yeah, it is. It's shocking. I think it's shocking. Hey, Bill, the positives in the last game, and I talked about it with Pete Carroll, and he was excited to really dive into it. The 2 Geno touchdowns to Brock, not only the catches in the end zone, but the drives were exactly what he wants Raider football to look like. There were long, sustained drives. The pocket was clean. Geno was really good. Everything looked like what he wants. And he told me, he goes, yeah, we got to do that 4 times instead of 2. And I get it. If he can do that 3, Geno was doing that in Seattle 3 or 4 drives a game. Now he's done it only 2 or 3 drives a season. If you take out the 2 drives that worked really well in LA in the loss, the opening game in New England, I can't even recall. I can't even make up, and I cover every game, Geno going from the 20 down to the end zone and throwing it in the end zone. I mean, it's few and far between. That's what the Raiders got to get back to. How do they do that?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's everything working together. I mean, it's not asking for much, right? Two professional drives in a game, and we're celebrating it in week 13. I mean, that's kind of the example of what's happening this year. Every team has some moments. Even the bad teams have some moments. So you just got to have to figure it out and get consistent. And again, it starts with the offensive line, and it just hasn't happened, And I know, hey, when you're 2-10, you celebrate little things like that, or at least you appreciate them. But it's really not that big of an accomplishment to have 2 scoring drives game,
Thanks for reminding me that. I go back to Gannon doing that 7 times in a game, or the great years of Plunkett or Stabler. But yeah, I'm trying to find at least something that could be built on. Hey, Bill, finally on this Denver game, which Raiders won 8 in a row when they opened the stadium. How are you covering the Broncos with how they're winning these games? 10 of their games are 1-score games or 8-2. Think of that. In the last 4 victories, their last 4 games, they're 4-0, and they've won by a combined 10 points. They are winning every game that matters in under 4 minutes to go. And most of those games, they're not playing well up until the 5-minute mark in the fourth quarter, other than their defense, of course. I'm talking about Bo Nix and that offense.
Yeah, and they've trailed in every game. On the flip side, their 2 losses both came with no time left on the clock. So they're playing, even when they nail biter. And usually that is a recipe for it catching up to you in the postseason.
Yeah.
There's 1 or 2 teams that do this every year. I mean, the Chiefs rode it all the way to the Super Bowl last year. Now they got their come up this year when they're losing those type of games.
Yeah.
So, remember the Raiders in 2021. They went to the playoffs and they won. Every ball bounced for them the right way in all their wins. And then it started not going the right way, the next year. So it will catch up to the Broncos. That's not saying they're a bad team. They're certainly a a high-level defense. They got a very good head coach. The quarterback is growing. He's only in his second year. But yeah, I mean, this game, look, there's upsets every week in the NFL, right? And this would be a big upset. The Broncos team that's won 9 in a row and a Raiders team that's lost 6 in a row. But it could happen.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't shock me. The Raiders, played them tough in Denver. That part worries me a little bit, that maybe that was the game that if they were going to upset the Broncos, it would have been that game. And maybe the Broncos figure it out a little bit in this game. But, yeah, I mean, I'll be shocked if the Raiders can win that game. I mean, they can win a couple this last week. And I have some friends like, stop, don't talk about winning. Let's just, get the 2 wins and get a high draft pick. But, we can talk about that.
Yeah, another
I
time.
think these guys, Max Crosby's not thinking about the draft.
No, he's not.
They're going to go out there and try to win.
Thank you, Bill. I'll talk to you soon. Appreciate you as always.
See you, man. Take care.
Bill Williamson. Nice job by him. Follow him at B. Williamson NFL. Vinny Bonsignor in 5 minutes. When we come back, Vinny B will join us. Brought to you by the Fountain Blue. What an experience at the Hall of Excellence. Go check it out at Fountain Blue, Las Vegas. All right. That was a fast hour. Vinny coming up next.
Boyd Gaming is the official and exclusive local casino partner of the Las Vegas Raiders and Allegiant Stadium. Bring your friends, have some fun, but always bet on black. Visit their 10 casinos across the valley. Don't let the game get out of hand. Please bet.
What's going on, chat?
Program and help of Southern Nevada can reduce utility costs for low-income families by improving.
Do you want to do that promo read for the prize on this show whenever you want to? I mean, you could do it if you want.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Or whatever you want.
Sure.
As we're going to.
Yeah, that'd be great.
When stores hot water heaters, air conditioners, refrigerators. Healthier, more energy-efficient home has lower power bills. These weather.
So I had a pretty good day yesterday. Chat. I hosted the Rod Woodson podcast with the Hall of Famer. Man, he had a lot of interesting things to say about the Ravens. The Steelers-Ravens game is a big one coming up, man. That is huge. Huge game. Both teams are 6-6 and not playing well. Lamar Jackson hasn't thrown a touchdown in 3 games. 3 games.
Snowdog, your nation, join GT Parade weekdays from the most interactive talk show in Stop Radio. We are RNR 928 ARL Las Vegas.
Man, I can't believe this mess I'm in. I don't know what to do. You need a great attorney. Yeah, but nothing. You can't do this alone. You need the Vegas lawyers. Hi, this is Paul Pata.
Anybody on the chat living in San Francisco, the city of San Francisco, in the city? Anybody?
On your side, the Vegas lawyers.
I'm seeing some disturbing tweets about my favorite former city, San Francisco.
7,000.
The Vegas Golden Knights are rolling through another epic season. Got an ice cold search.
I have something cool tomorrow, so I'm hosting. I host Raiders Roundtable with Eric Allen. I host Raiders Rundown. That's the show I do on Saturdays. And then tomorrow, because our teammate Amber Theo Harris is not going to be with us, I'm hosting the Silver and Black Show, and I'm going to get a chance to interview Brock Bowers. Brock is our guest, so I'm excited about that.
Guys, it's time to look younger and more.
And it's Vinny here. Right?
And it's Vinny here.
Vinny.
The Vinny.
They'll guide you through every step, whether it's cutting-edge weight.
It's Wednesday. It feels like it's Thursday.
Very deceptive.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of yelling. If you want to fire Mike Tomlin and Pete Carroll and Mike McDaniel and all that, if you want to fire the coach, look, I want to fire Aaron Boone every time he takes the diamond at Yankee Stadium. I get it. People want the coach fired. I work for the coach. I work with the coach. So I think anybody who has an IQ of over 30 knows that I want the coach to succeed because the coaches have been, good with their time with me. And I get a chance to talk to them. So I'd like to see the coaches all be successful, every one of them. I had a guy call me a shill this morning, a little coward, because I get paid by the team. He wanted me to give up my job. I always love the guys who want me to give up my job. JT, it'd be so much cooler if you didn't have a job. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. So you'd come to my house in the backyard and listen to me do a radio show to nobody? You'd be that loyal to me? If I didn't have a job, would you pay me? I don't have a mortgage, but would you pay my mortgage if I'd had a mortgage? No, you would.
Great show. What are my expectations? We're going to win a bunch. And I don't care who hears that. I mean, it doesn't matter to me. He's legendary. His track record speaks for itself. He competes every single day, and that's what I love about him.
Your silver and black home to sound off for over 25 years.
I want to play harder than the guy lining up across, team lining up across from me. And if you're not, then I want to be the space. That's where the Raiders make it. But I expect excellence every day. And
here's JT the Brick.
Yeah, we're back for another hour. We got busy hours the rest of the week. JT right here at the Lotus Broadcasting Studios, as we are brought to you by Virgin Hotels Las Vegas. Rodeo's here. They open up that theater. They open up 24 Oxford. They got one steakhouse with the great John O'Donnell behind the bar. That's entertainment. Head on out to Virgin Hotels for the rodeo and all of their activations coming up here. Cliff Atkinson and their entire team do a brilliant job around F1, rodeo, summertime. They're proud partners with us. It's great to welcome in Vinny Bonsignor, as we do every Wednesday, and we greatly appreciate his time. So, Vinny, thanks for jumping in for me the other day. Great job as always. I want to start with the heat that's coming down from the national media on this organization because of their win-loss record. It's not just people in Raider Nation now. People around the country have been very critical of the game plans and what's happened before Chip Kelly, and not so much after, you would say, with the Greg Olson game plan in L.A. You were there. What did you take away from that loss?
Yeah, I mean, things have been a lot bit differently. Play calling, the outcome obviously wasn't the same. They came into the game averaging 15 points per game, and they scored 14 points per game. And average went a little bit. They couldn't crack 200 yards in offense. It was another terrible day offensively.
No problem.
Ongoing and trying all kinds of different things, but I think that ultimately, when it comes to the offensive line, that's going to be big, huge box they're going to have to check off at the end of the year. They're going to have to hope that Miller comes back healthy, Howard Johnson comes back healthy. I think Bolton is trying to get out there this year. I would not expect that for Jackson Powers Johnson. There's going to be new additions. There's young players like Caleb Rogers, Caleb Rogers and Charles Grant that take forward so that they could be viable pieces next year. But the offensive line has not been all year, and it's basically been fine. The Raiders kind of starts there for me, and that's not something that they're going to be able to fix.
Vinny Bonsignor joins us. Lincoln isn't a fan of mixing and matching an offensive line. He just believes put him out there, let him play, and then evaluate him. The Mafi versus Rogers snap count and what happened there. Look, Pete Carroll's made it clear to me and you multiple times. They're going to practice during the week. He's going to look at the film of practice before the game to decide on snap count. I just didn't think we'd be doing it this late into the season with a 2-win team, but it seems like that's the program and how they're going to run it going forward.
I tried it for me. And he's not going to change. No matter how many times we ask that question, whether it's under the bright light, of the podium or behind the scenes, on podium, and that's been a consistent message. I just think that fans just don't necessarily like the answer. Like I just agree with it too, but that isn't. It's broken. No matter how many times Pete Carroll that question, he's always going to, hey, the way he coaches comes down to practice in the classroom throughout the week of preparation, and the players that he believes and his staff believes they have the best chance to win on Sundays are the ones.
All right, Clay, we're good. We got a bad connection. Yeah, Vinny, we're good. We're going to run here because the wind and the connection is really rough here. So, again, we're just having a tough time there. When it's out in deep Henderson and it's windy, and I know what it's like because I'm there 4 days a week. It is tough. So we appreciate Vinny coming on, and we'll get him on a better line next time. No problem with that. We appreciate Vinny's few minutes here. And as we wrap that up, we talked about what was going to happen with this program and how Pete Carroll's going to run it. And I'm visibly frustrated, personally frustrated that people are questioning Pete Carroll's practice habits and how he gets the players prepared for the games. Now, I'm shocked that they're playing so poorly. Shocked. But I'm shocked that anybody would question what he's done his whole life. Through USC, the same exact program building, and people are doubting that. No, don't doubt the process. Doubt the coaching underneath him and the personnel. That you can doubt, and you can criticize Coach Carroll on game day. That's one of the things that we do here on this show all the time. If the game starts and the game ends in a bad loss, we criticize the coach. Now, you know how many times this year, Clay, did we criticize Pete Carroll screwing up the clock? How many times?
None.
How many times did we criticize the coach for screwing up the timeouts?
None.
Yeah, none the whole year. That's what Pete Carroll does. He's excellent in game. He's also got a really big track record at halftime adjustments. I haven't seen great halftime adjustments. I mean, maybe the worst halftime adjustment of the year was 7-7, Clay, at the Chargers, and then they bust a 60-yard touchdown, and no one tackles, and they're tripping over each other because they felt, and Coach told me coming out of halftime, they were good to go. They really felt like they were going to win that game, and then boom, a backbreaker play. So we got open lines if you want to get in on the Bronco game. We're just Bronco calls until Friday. How do you beat the Broncos? What do the Broncos mean to you? How do you beat the Broncos? That's what we should be doing. Not whining and moaning and, oh, my God, it's the worst year of my life. Oh, my God, I don't know how I'm going to get through Christmas. No, grown-ass men don't whine. We had Steph McKenzie start the show. She didn't whine. She hates the Broncos. We're looking for a maturity level of people who don't constantly whine and cry and blank and moan. They just want to beat the Broncos. That's what I'm doing for my 2 hours. I got to do 3 hours, another podcast and all that. But when I'm on the radio here for 2 hours a day, I'm going to interview people that know the team, have opinions on the team, on the other team, and then just do my job and let the chips fall on Sunday. And then I'm on first. I'm the first voice after the game ends. And this year it's been hard. It's been hard because all of these games have been losses. And the post-game show, which is physically hard. But yeah, you know, you got to, it's hard when you lose this many games in a row. Very difficult when you lose this many games in a row and you're trying to figure out why. And that's what our job is. What our job is to figure out is why are they losing all these games? Is it the coaching? Is it the players? Is it the game plan? What is it? And we all have pretty strong opinions on that. I got a bunch of different opinions. I gave you all of them. I don't think we have good enough players. The offensive line isn't playing well. I haven't liked the play calling all year. I like Greg Olson. I thought it was a little bit better. And the defense has been on the field too long. They're on the field way too long, and they got young players who I told you coming out of training camp were going to get lit up in almost every game because they're young, but they flash. Caillou's been beat a bunch this year, but man, Caillou's had a couple of really good plays. He's had some flash plays this year, but that was expected. We knew that Caillou would get beat from time to time, and he gets beat from time to time often. But then he makes a splash play, which is good. And, oh, yeah, the tackling. The tackling's been atrocious. Blocking up front, John 699 in the live chat on YouTube at JT the Brick says, JT, here are the problems. Number 1, tackling. Number 2, blocking up front. Number 3, D-line can't stop the run. Bravo. You should be hosting the show today, and I should be having a Modelo I wouldn't be golfing in this wind today. Wind is an issue. Vinny apologized for the wind. It's not his fault. We get wind here in Southern Nevada. But John, Monaco 699. Tackling? Yes. Blocking up front? Yes. D-line can't stop the run? Abso-freaking-lutely. That's it. Throw that up on the whiteboard in headquarters when you have the next scouting or team meeting. That's what needs to be fixed. Can you stop the run? Not really. Can you run the ball? Absolutely not. And can you tackle better? Let's bring in some better tacklers. Let's find some college kids who tackle and tackle better. And, Tommy Eichenberg, big shot from Ohio State, like him a lot. Where is he? Where is he? Where are our linebackers? Other than Devin White. Landon Roberts, good player, very good player. How come guys are gashing up the middle and running all over us? Where are the linebackers? I don't think they're bad. I think they're okay. But we need some 22-year-old linebackers who have energy, who can come in there and get to the quarterback. Joe is out in Denver. Joe, thanks for waiting. You're up next on the flagship. Go ahead, Joe.
Hey, JT, how you doing? Love your show.
Thank you.
So I've been a Raider fan since 1977, the golden years, when we were winning everything. And obviously it hasn't been all that great since then. But I'll always be a Raider fan. Raider for life. I live here in Donkeyland, surrounded by donkeys. And if you were to tell me there's 2 games that I want to win in the year, it'd be against these donkeys. The local sports station here, The Fan, they can't stand us Raiders. They think that we're the worst. So for me, beating these donkeys, it would make my Christmas. It would make my year. So let's go out and beat these guys. They're sitting on their little perch. They think they're going to go to the Super Bowl and win it. We got to knock them off their perch. We got to put them to at least a 2nd or 3rd seed and just put them in their place. So I really hope we go out there and beat these guys. Tanking us for losers, like you said with Max, that's the worst mentality you can have. So let's put a beat down on these donks. So that's all I have to say on your show.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate that a lot. I appreciate that. And you'd like to beat Denver here, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't predict games. I am not in the game prediction business. That opens up a line for you at 702-365-9200. Antonio from Modesto on the rivalry. Go ahead.
JT the Brick, man. I listen to your show every day, even at work. I can't call in all the time. Hey, this rivalry means a lot to me. My mom and dad both 88 and 86. All their families from a little town in Pueblo, Colorado. So from Craig Morton to John Elway to every game you can think of. I had grandmas calling me up back in the day. I had rest in peace a couple uncles now that used to call, hey, those Raiders up there, give me the business forever. So my most hated team is 1A, the Santa Clara 49ers, and 1AB is the Denver Broncos. So I hope somehow we spoil the parade. The Raiders they're good. The Raiders are good for one game they're going to steal this year. Maybe it might even be against the Eagles in a couple weeks. For one game, I think they're going to show up. But I'll take this Bronco game this week. That rivalry goes back 55 years to me from everything you can think of, from the 70s to Jim Tunney or Turney doing a fake field goal on us. I go back, man. Thanks, JT.
Thank you. I appreciate you calling in. You want to win against your rivalry every time. And sometimes in baseball, Clay, they have the 3rd wild card now. When my dad grew up as a kid, my dad's 87, Joe DiMaggio and Ted Williams would play all year. Red Sox, Yankees. There was no wild card.
No.
You had to win the division. And that's why the Yankees won 27 championships. So with lesser teams, the Yankees were able to do that. And imagine Ted Williams every year going, there's 4 games left. I'm trailing the Yankees by 1. I'm batting .406. DiMaggio's batting .358. We're both going to be the MVP, and I'm never going to the playoffs.
Yeah, our team's won 90 games. Yeah. We're not going to the playoffs.
And that was a rivalry. The Broncos are the same. The Broncos with the Elway Super Bowls at the end, and I went to both of them, the Elway Super Bowls and then the Peyton Manning Super Bowl, because they played in 2 and 1-1. So when you look at the Broncos with their Super Bowls compared to the Raiders, you would have a long debate in a bar who's been a better franchise. You can go wins and losses. The Broncos have never been considered the team of the decades. Am I right or wrong? Never been considered the team of the decade.
Never.
They've been considered John Elway's team and a Peyton Manning rental at the end of Peyton Manning's career where he couldn't walk. And they've had good years, but the Raiders have owned the Broncos for most of their existence in the bigger games. And the biggest robbery in Raider history, you could say it's the Immaculate Deception. You could say it's the Tuck Rule. Many people believe it's the Rob Lidle fumble. The fumble in Denver, that the ball came out, the Rob Lidle fumble, the Raiders were stolen another potential Super Bowl. So we got deep rivalry with this team. So anytime you can beat them, any one game, anytime, is really super important. Pete Carroll met the media today. You'll hear my interview with him on Friday. Here's the Pete Carroll podium session from earlier today.
Pete, Jack Fesh is somebody that keeps kind of flashing, especially on third downs. He seems to have a knack for being available in those situations. Is he earning more time in your eyes?
Yeah, he definitely is. He's in the rotation much more so. Yeah, he's done a nice job lately.
What in particular has in terms of growth has he shown?
When the guys are new, they you can see their talent, but they got to get all of their assignments and all of the little things and all the details and stuff. And for the young guys, that's why you play them sparingly as they're bringing them up, and you raise them. Hopefully, like I've said a bunch of times, you get to the halfway point, they should have their act together. Well, he's an indicator of that. So it's just being really precise is what's hard for the young guys.
Pete, for listening from NFL Network in regards to like this.
I don't even know where this is going, but I'm not sure I like this.
You probably won't. But
That's
in
right.
terms of the disconnect between you and Chip Kelly, how the offense should have been operating when he was here, I was wondering, do you have any comment on those reports about that?
No, I don't know about the reports. I know who I sounded like right there. I don't know about what you're talking about, other than there was some clamor because I said something that came out because it wasn't accurate. And that's Chip's a tremendous football coach, and we got along great and communicated well and all that. We just needed to make a change.
You said you're doing a right guard yet?
No, we'll get to practice these next couple of days. We'll see what happens, but we're working at it, and we're open to how the competition plays itself out.
I know in the summer, over the summertime, you mentioned how like you're not afraid to play young players, but I was wondering, as over the course of the season, kind of like what's been the challenge for them to get, I would say, more consistent reps? Is it more like the learning curve been a little bit steeper than you guys anticipated with some of these guys? Just what's been that challenge?
No, it's up to the competition at the spots, and who they're trying to kind of remove from the playtime or gain some playtime on it. And it just depends on what's happening. And not everybody, it's not a wholesale idea. It's an opportunity to compete, to find your way on the field. And we want to be wide open to it, which we are. And then they got to earn it. And so that's basically what it is. And some guys come along faster than others, or other guys maybe play better at their spots because they feel the pressure of it, which is kind of the whole idea.
What have you seen from Alex Kappa now that he got a little bit more burn at the center spot?
He handled it really well for the few times that he's been able to play the spot in his past. This was like, starting over kind of, but he had, because of his background, his experience, his wherewithal, his ability to communicate, he helped us. And so he did a nice job.
Practice week going on this week. Is the chance Meredith might be able to work his way back, or
we're going to see how he does. We're going to let him practice, and we'll see how it goes. So we're hopeful that he'll get to return.
There's an analytics site out there that ranks you guys as the best in terms of fourth down decision making, to go for it, punt, et cetera, et cetera. Has that evolved in terms of the decision making, what goes into it, the athletics of it all?
Yes, it has. It definitely has over the years, and it helps to have somebody that has a good feel for that. Nate's really good at doing that, and he handles that in connection with the coaches. They're involved in it, but yet they don't have the say. And but we take their input when we can. But that's how we work it out, and we feel pretty clean. I didn't know where we were, but I know we're very comfortable with the process and the situations we've been through a million of them.
How much of that is predetermined, in terms of if we come across this situation, this is what we're going to do, as opposed to going by your gut when it's
how much you say. Well, it depends. We try to get through everything we can think of, and when we can predetermine how we would go, then it's a matter of when the opportunity arises, you capture what the thinking is, and then you go ahead and make the call. And there is some gut situations in here, and for years and years and years, that's how I did it. I did it right from the gut, and now we have a nice group, a nice connection. Ryan Pagnetti helps us in a big way as well, and so I feel like we're really well prepared, and whatever happens, we feel pretty confident about making the choices.
Brock only had 4 targets on Sunday, and I think that's like second fewest in his in a game in his career. I was just wondering what led to that. Is that just more of like Geno Smith not having the time due to being under duress for most of the game? Kind of like what led to the?
There is a few variables in there, in some of the way they played him, and we're always looking for him. Always, we love the way he plays and the plays that he can make. So it's never like we're holding off to throw to somebody else. That's not the way this works. But some of it was pressure, and some of it was things that they did. They really committed hard, and it worked out for them better than for us. We would like him to get close to 10 targets a game, and somewhere in there and more. We'll take whatever we can get. He was easily looked at with the thought of targeting maybe a dozen times in the game. So it just didn't work out.
Where does that catch rank for you that he made?
Well, it's a very unique catch. You think about all the great catches that we've seen. So unique that he would catch it off the top of the turf. I thought it was one of the really excellent catches I've seen. And it's because you never see anybody do it like that. Made it special even more so.
Front zone, highest rate in the league. I'm just curious, like philosophically, what is it that you like about zone, and how can it make life tough on a quarterback?
It's mixing your looks as much as you can. Keep changing up so that you can fit guys in different ways. We do a variety of things to do that, and it's just kind of the pattern that we have been really successful at for a long time, and so we like it. But that doesn't mean we don't like playing man to man. We've worked really hard with our corners and our nickels to make sure that they can hold up, and we feel confident in them. I think there's always reason you could do a little bit more man to man stuff, but and we need to get a third down defense in order, and that will call for us to play more aggressively.
The reason I asked that question is because Bo Nix struggles against zone, and I'm just curious how you guys feel.
Yeah, we need to play a lot more man to man this week.
Greedy Vance up from the practice squad. What has he been showing you guys?
I would think that every time you ask me about Greedy, I feel so positive about his ability. He's got a real knack about making plays, and he's got great confidence. That is what the players have that are willing to take the chances. He's got that, and he's a really good tackler, for a smaller guy. And he's just been obviously a guy who could make a play, and so we've seen it all through camp and in the off season and all of that. So I'm glad that he's one of the guys that's benefiting from the time on task, and we like what he does.
You anticipate Michael Mayer being able to practice this?
We have to wait. It's day to day. We have to wait and see.
Despite the difference in records, you guys played them very tough up in Denver. Does that give you any confidence heading into getting them back here in Vegas now?
It was a really good game, on both sides. Both teams played really tough and played right down to the nub. There was a lot of really good field position things that happened. AJ had a great game. Defense played really well when we had them backed up and got off the field and did some great things there. They had some penalties too in the game, that I'm sure they're going to try to avoid. But it gave us a real shot to play a nose to nose defensive ball game, come right down to the last possession. And so we do understand that. We have a lot of respect for their team. Their team has done some remarkable things this year. They've had remarkable games, comebacks and finishes and all of that kind of thing that we really respect. So we know we're up against a really tough opponent, but yet we did match up all right. And so we're looking forward to see if we can take the next step.
I know you mentioned that you were hopeful in terms of Colt Miller returning at some point during the final stretch of the season. Like given where you guys are at standings wise, does that impact kind of like your decision whether
it doesn't impact mine? No, and the trainers are pushing him as much as they can. He's working as hard as he can to get back, and we'll see what the time frame is. It really doesn't have anything to do with the other aspect of it. Just trying to get him out there.
What makes Nick McKinney so hard to handle on defense?
Oh man,
how they use him.
He's explosive. He's really slippery. He's a really good all-around athlete. He's got all the kind of the knack, physically to slip you in, to avoid you, and to race right on past the tackles. And he has a great motor. Really goes. So those guys that like when we see Max play, he plays at such a high level that if a guy just makes a false step or just doesn't quite get off on the cadence, like on Max's sack last week, they take full advantage of it. And so Nick's doing all of that, and he's having a terrific year. He's got 50 something pressures or close to 50 pressures, whatever it is. It's amazing.
That's good.
You reportedly gave this to Lane Kiffin when his decision to go from Ole Miss to LSU. What was your thoughts on him moving on and taking a new challenge?
You think I'd answer that? I didn't answer that. Really, in all respect to the question. I don't have any opinion that I'm going to let out about what he did. I mean, I just talked to him the way I knew him. I've known him just about his whole life, so it was just being there for him.
Thanks, Coach.
Interesting comments on Lane Kiffin at the end from Pete Carroll. That was Pete Carroll from the podium today, brought to you by Remy Martin, Sip Like Royalty. Remy Martin, proud partner of our show. Holiday season, Remy Martin 1738, and whenever you're making a margarita, Remy Cointreau, I don't care what tequila you use, the highest of the highest end, your favorite at home. You need Cointreau in your tequila. You need the greatest margarita of all time, Remy Martin, Sip Like Sports Royalty. And Cointreau is exploding. It has already globally. Make sure you make your margarita that way. A couple of takeaways from that. That's the first time I heard that. You'll hear my conversation with Coach Carroll on Friday. We do it early in the week. We do it Tuesday. That's the day off. That's when he does it. He talked about, the question was Brock Bowers' targets at 4. And he said, well, we're trying. I don't think that's correct. There's no reason why Brock Bowers should have 4 targets. He was wide open in 3 of them. Wide open. Not open. Open's when there's someone on you and you might have a hip turn, you might get a shoulder around the corner and you can get him. I don't see Brock Bowers covered to the point where you can't throw it to him. Do you? Anybody else out there? I'm sure there is 1 or 2 occasions where there's a complete double team on him that I have to go back and look. You put him in motion. So if he had his second lowest targets and he had 2 touchdowns, I can't imagine any scenario where Brock Bowers cannot be thrown open. That's the term. We're going to throw him open, Clay. He's going to be covered, but we're going to throw him open. Now, the problem with that, Clay, is that Geno has 0 time. None. The worst in the league. So the ball's got to come out quickly to Brock. So I put him in motion. Put him in motion where he comes off the line clean. Now, if you throw it behind the line of scrimmage, he might get tackled. If you throw it to him right at the line of scrimmage, he might get 2 yards. But to say you can't get him the ball because they're doing something, I don't see that.
No, that's what you do. You change the timing of it, so you get rid of the ball quicker, and he's already in motion. But at the same time, a guy like Eric Allen, Hall of Famer, says Brock Bowers is one of the few players I've ever seen at his age that can win every 50-50 matchup. So something? Constantly put him up against a single where he's going to go one-on-one with somebody. He always wins that matchup. And if Eric Allen sees it, that's something that you could say, you know what, instead of 4 targets, let's try to put it up to 8 to 12. Because even if we're trying to throw the ball away a little bit, or at least trying to throw the ball a little haphazardly, at least find him. Because if he's one-on-one with somebody, he's going to go up and get it.
I got a nice event coming for my family and friends this weekend, kind of post-birthday event. And I want to thank Mike from La Casa Cigars for providing the sticks. Mike's become a really good friend with his wife, Sandy. They do a lot. La Casa Cigars and Lounge over at Tivoli Village is open. I was there watching college football over the weekend. A great place to have a cigar. Everything that we like, they serve there, from Modelo to Tito's to Remy Martin, whatever you like. Mike does an unbelievable job. And as they build out the brand new La Casa that has an outdoor patio that will blow you away, a VIP room. They just put the lockers in there, which are fantastic. If you're a cigar aficionado, you might want to have a locker for your own sticks. Fantastic. What a great job. Their staff is friendly, and they have music 7 nights a week. La Casa Cigars at Tivoli Village. Great place to go and relax. And I relax when I go there. I actually relax. I don't relax on this show. I relax at home. I relax a little bit when I go to bed, but I don't relax on this show. I can't. It's tough to relax here. We got a lot more to come, but I'm going to say goodbye to the bricklayers on YouTube. Rest of the show, wide open phone, 702-365-9200. How do you beat the Donkeys? Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you today. We will see you. Please hit subscribe on the way out. That goes from Twitter. Twitter people, man, please hit subscribe. Please share. And tomorrow I'm hosting the Silver and Black show. I think the first hour of the show will be on tape. I'll do that tomorrow. I'll tape the show, and then I'll be live from the Raiders, hour number 2. So the first hour, we will not tomorrow have a live stream. We will not have a live stream at 12 Pacific, 3 Eastern. But hour 2, we will have a live stream. So a lot going on. The Raiders needed me to step up tomorrow at the facility, and we're going to do that for them. And then have a great show tomorrow. Thanks, everyone.